So before we do the stuff with a UI, we're going to first create a script that, well, we're going to create another utility that is going to help us create icons right here inside Unity, so we don't have to worry about going into external software and use them. Of course, the item, well, we're not going to apply any image effects or anything fancy on the icons we're going to make. We're just going to use them for testing purposes. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to create a new scene, and I'm just going to call this icon. Let's save this scene. Okay, we are now in an empty scene. We have a camera, so let's go write a script. We're going to in the utilities, and I'm going to create this, and I'm going to say icon maker. Before we actually do that though, well, maybe it's better if we make its own folder, because we can reuse these utilities for other projects as well. Icon maker. Yeah, I think we wouldn't really need that much, so I'm going to take this one and drop it in here. I'm going to create render target, render texture, and we have a render texture over here, and the resolution we have to this, well, we can of course update it from the script, but this is basically the resolution. Maybe 256 by 256 is too much. I think 128 by 128 should be more than enough. Icon maker, let's put it under a namespace, utilities, because we don't really need it right now. And let's also put if Unity editor, and if, and we also need execute in edit mode. We should probably close it and open it again. Yeah, that was annoying. Anyway, let's write again, I guess. Let's leave it like this, and now it takes it as a duplicate. Jesus. Let's close it entirely. Seriously? Let's delete this one. So let's do it for the third time, because Unity. Execute in edit mode. Okay, and we are here. Let's create a public integer, resolution X, and public integer resolution Y, res X. Let's set it up as 128 and 128. We can't go non-uniformly. Okay, but yeah, it depends on what kind of what kind of icons you want to make. And I'm also going to add the boolean create. We also want a render texture, render. Actually, we might not even need the render texture. Oh, well, yeah, let's use this. We want a the camera, we were going to bake to bake camera. It's better if we change this to height and width, I guess, just to be more clear. Okay, I think this will do. Let's go on update, and we're going to say if create false, and in here we're going to say public. Yeah, there's no need to be public. Void create icon. So to create the icon, all we need to do is basically render the camera we have set on the target resolution we want. Okay, and save it on a format we actually can use. We're also going to need a sprite name, public string sprite name, and we can, when we're creating the icon, we have the sprite name already. Let's do a check if string dot is null or empty. Sprite name, assign something, icon. If you have if you're going to create the same name sprite, it's going to override your older one. Keep that in mind. Let's also create a save location, and basically what we're going to need in here is so we need our save location. As usual, that will be application streaming assets path plus let's go dirty with this. Okay, icons, and yeah, let's leave it at that. Of course, we need to do a check if directory, or well, you know, if doesn't exist, directory dot exist, save location, right click, quick actions using system input and output, then directory, create directory, save location, return save location. So this will also create the directory if it doesn't return. The streaming assets path is a folder that if you build it, it's coming along with your project, so it's going to be inside your builds. For the icons, you can just take them from that folder and put them in a folder actually inside your project, and it will also be compressed with your project, so you don't have to load them from there. And it's basically what we're going to do. So, okay, we have create icon. We need a save location. String path will be save location plus the sprite name. Now we need our current render texture, current retweet, render texture dot active. Okay, we need to release the previous render texture we have in our camera. Paycam target texture dot release. Then we need to actually do render texture dot active will be our camera, our bake camera dot target texture. So we are creating a new render texture, and we're saying on your camera render We should probably, before we do that, let's do I think, yeah, we should probably just set this we'll initialize our texture, render texture. So render dot, come on, dot height will be the height, render dot width will be our width, and on our bake camera the render texture or target texture will be the render texture. Have it as render, yeah. Bake camera render. Let's see. Now we need to create a 2D texture. Texture 2D. IMG, PNG, and then we need to actually create a new texture 2D. Bake camera, target texture dot width, bake camera dot target texture dot height. Texture format will be ARGB 32, and the other thing, what is the mip maps? Yeah, we don't want any mip maps. False. This will be IMG, PNG, IMG, PNG. We're going to read all our pixels. So we need a new rectangle. 0, 0. Okay, you can see what those are, the positions. The width is basically our camera. Well, we should just use height and width and height. And of course, I think it takes 2 more arguments. New rectangle over here, and no, let's see. Obviously I have a cheat sheet. 0, and then the destination Y will also be 0. IMG, PNG, then we just need to apply it. Render texture dot active will be our current render texture, and we now need to encode this. We have all our bytes PNG, IMG PNG dot, we can encode to EXR, JPEG or PNG. We're going with PNG because we also need the alpha, and we're going to have system dot input and output file, write all bytes, path. The path has already the sprite name. Okay, and we just need to assign basically the ending, so that will be .png, and we can say the bytes we want to write are the bytes from the PNG. So this will basically create you an icon. Let's test this. Icon maker, close this, and let's fix our camera. Let's find something that works for us. I'm going to create a new camera, and this is going to be my bake camera. And this is what we're going to use to actually bake the textures. But it gets a little bit annoying sometimes to fix this one. So we need this. So I'm going to take this. Let's find an asset. Let's find one of the Viking sword, maybe. Let's actually set this up as a holder and we have two cameras. Let's take all this, drop them in here, reset everything. Okay, they populate the same position, and we can call this item. Drop the Viking sword, reset, make sure also the scale is correct. Let's put the game scene somewhere over here. We need to, I'm fixing I think the scale, oh no, it's correct. Okay, I'm going to set it up something like that, I guess. We want a more orthogonal, something like this, I believe. Of course, usually it can be cut off on the center, like it's not the actual height of the weapon. Maybe something like this. Maybe we can change them to orthographic and lower the size entirely so that it feels a little bit more 2D. Where are the opposite? Maybe something like that. If you want, you can set the resolution also from here, but well, you know, nobody cares. Let's put the script icon maker, assign the render texture, assign the back camera, sprite name, let's go with sword, and let's hit create. As you can see, yeah, it doesn't let us change the resolution, so let's fix that. Let's put the create icon on top, the create false. Let's remove this, and we can just change it directly on. Yeah, we can just change it directly, or actually, yeah, we need one more thing. And instead of using width and height entirely, we're going to use bake camera target texture width and height. We're going to delete these two. And we can just change the resolution in here, so we can go with 128 and 128. Let's try this now. Let's close all this. Streaming assets, icons, and it did create the sword, as you can see. But well, you know, it's not really. It somewhere got an issue. Let's delete this one. We don't need it. And for inside our holder, let's before we do this, we actually want to change the clear flags to be depth only. Let's save. Let's do a create right now. We should also put a debug log that it actually created. Debug log. Let's call it sprite. Name created. Plus created. Alright, here's another, again, our sword. It's pretty close, it's basically what we want. Okay, of course it's 128 by 128. And I think it's better if we just go with 256 and we can scale them up or compress them inside Unity. Okay, oops. 256. We should probably make it a little bit more centered. If you select this also, you can get a better view. Of course, you have your previous render texture again. Let's see. Create. sword created, icons. If you don't see anything in here, doesn't mean it hasn't yet created. It just means that Unity hasn't updated the stuff you need. Okay, so here's our icon. If we create UI, let's go with image and put the sword into, well, actually before we do that, for some reason it needs to be, let's see if we do a import. That's weird. It doesn't let us to fix it, so that means something is wrong. IMG and go to PNG. Well, it's easy, you can fix that easily. Just take it out. Delete this one. Probably if you close Unity and reopen it again, it's going to work. So I'm going to create a new folder in here, icon. I drop the icon on my desktop and I'm just going to re-import it. And you can see that I can change its settings. It wasn't like this in a previous version of Unity, so your guess is as good as mine. Of course, quality is going to be like this. You can play also with the other settings. Okay, you can decide what you want for that. So we have our sword. Let's create one more for, we can close this, we don't need it. Let's create one more for the shield, since that's the only two things we have. I'm going to drop it on the item and maybe rotate it around. You can also add items, stuff like that. Something like this. If I take on the canvas right now, okay, there's my icon. Let's close this. We have our shield. Maybe we should change a little bit the direction of the light so that it shows better. That's more like it. On our holder, click create. On our streaming assets, showing explorer, icons, and here is a sword. Well, it's not our sword. Copy by keep both files, delete. And then on our icons, we have our sword. Let's bring back our shield. Let's call it also shield. Or you can give them your own names. You can name them whatever you want. But yeah, this is a tool to create icons. So I think this might work a little bit better if we just leave this here as a separate tutorial just to make icons, because we're also going to use this in the turn-based game. But if you just take these two scripts, and you can also take this scene as well, let's drop the scene in here as well. You can, wrong scene, scenes, icon maker. Okay, if you export this, you can use this in any project, and you can make icons and stuff like that with this. You can also expand on this and actually create it so you can capture animation, sprites and stuff like that. But yeah, this is something for, well, another day. So, like, subscribe if you like to see more, if you like to see where we're going to use all this nice stuff, then you can, you can support me on Patreon or via Gumroad, and I'll see you next time.